guys doing? I know I took a little hiatus from YouTube, but a changing event happened to me. I survived a car crash during the pandemic, which I'm gonna let you know right now is a very crazy experience. So I wrote down some notes to keep me on track. Well, not even notes, like the whole first half is written down because I feel like if I just get in front of the camera, I might just like space.
Coronavirus! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Shit is getting real!
So on April 26th is when my accident actually happened, and that was my life-changing moment. I got into a car accident. I broke both my legs. My right thigh bone broke in many different pieces. My left thigh bone just broke in half. And honestly, my left leg didn't really sustain much damage. On my right leg, I had broken my ankle. I had a bone protruding from my leg. I had broken my thigh in many different areas, and I had fractured my hip. I had also fractured my rib cage, and I sprained my left ankle. I recently just gotten a call actually from the sheriff department. Hi, how are you doing? Do you know who I am? And I was like, no. He's like, I'm the cop that was called on site. And honestly, no one thought you were gonna make it. That was like really shocking because I couldn't believe it. You know how people say when you have your near-death experience, you get all of these flashes of your life, like memories, good ones, bad ones, everything. None of that happened for me. None of that happened to me at all. I just took like a very deep slumber, and then I woke up and I was in the hospital, and I was like, oh, what am I doing here? Because I woke up, I wasn't in any pain or anything. It's just a lot of confusion. I was in and out of consciousness when I was being rolled into the ER with many people asking me an assortment of different questions. I didn't wake up for like 2 days, and all I could hear was like my mom crying. She was asking me to wake up. I could hear her, but I couldn't open my eyes. I couldn't talk. I couldn't move. I couldn't squeeze her hand. I couldn't do any of that. And all I heard her say all of a sudden was like, blink if you can hear me. And of course I couldn't do like the whole open shut movement because my body was so weak at that point. But I like squeezed my eyelids like this. And she cried out. She was like, oh my gosh. I really don't remember what happened after that, but I woke up very shortly after. So when I finally opened my eyes, I had a ventilator in my mouth, and like I look at my mom and she's so happy. And then I realized I can't talk because there's literally something down my throat. So there's a helpline. So I pressed for the nurse. The nurse came, and it took a very long time, but they finally took out the ventilator. I was so thirsty. You don't even understand the amount of thirst that I felt. My lips were chapped, my throat was dry. I couldn't even focus at the matter at hand, which was me broken in the hospital. All I cared about was getting water. So I had called the nurses like 15 times. Can I get some ice? No, you can't. You have to get tested first. Like there's a specialist that has to come and see if you can hold any food down, if you know how to chew still. I was like in my head, because I still hadn't registered like really what happened to me. It's like, why wouldn't I be able to chew? Like that's pretty easy to do, you know, you just open, close, and swallow. But no, I had to wait. So finally, she made me do these assortment of tests, which is like a juice box, I think a saltine cracker. There was a third thing, but I actually don't remember it. So they would limit your intake. So you had like 1 second to sip the juice. So it'd be like, and she'd be like, swallow. And I'm like, okay. And then she would give me a saltine cracker. And instead of like eating the whole cracker like an adult would, I had to take like a little nibble. After they did that for about another 5 minutes, and they realized that I was able to eat and drink with no problem, they put me on like no dietary restrictions. And they gave me a big cup of ice water, which I downed. I think I downed like 3 cups of water before everything was told to me, like what happened. So remind you, this is during the pandemic. There's no visitors allowed. There's no people. There's no friends. That no familiar faces. Somehow, someway, my mom got into the ICU. I don't know how she did that, because you're just not allowed. It's just not allowed. That was the one and only time I got to see her at that hospital, because I had gone to 2 different hospitals. But at that hospital was the only time I got to see my mom. It was the first day of my accident. So she was only able to stay there for like 30 minutes or so, and then she had to leave because, you know, it's against protocol. I don't actually remember ever getting explained to me what happened. Nor did I ever cry. Like, I never was very sad. It was more like happy, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I survived such a thing like that. And I still wasn't feeling any pain, but I was hooked up on everything you can possibly imagine. So I had like I think I had 2 different IVs hooked into me. One of them was hooked in the wrong place, and I'll insert pictures, but my hand had blown up. It was swollen because whatever they did, they didn't put it in the right area. I had the heart monitor on, so I had like all these things attached to me. I looked at my legs. I was never in a cast, but I had all these bandages on me, and all of them were bloody bandages. And I think the doctor told me I was in surgery for about 6 hours. They will always ask me, do you want more? Do I need to up it? How's your pain level? And I really didn't feel any pain. So I think the first 3 days I was on drugs because they were nervous. And then afterwards, I stopped taking them. So I had this nurse, her name was Dana, and she took such great care of me, because once you lose mobility in your legs, you literally cannot do a thing. It's insane that just 2 parts of your body may be the largest parts of your body, but just 2 parts. Like, you still have your head, your shoulders, arms, knees, and toes. No, I'm kidding. You still have all those other body parts, but yet they cannot function properly without your legs. So I was not able to sit up. I was not able to roll over. The only sleeping position I had or could do was to lay straight on my back. And I had to make sure when I laid straight on my back to keep trying to move side to side, even though I really couldn't. Because if I would stay too long on my back, I would end up getting bed sores, which is a common thing that happens for people who are bedridden or something like that. So that's the constant worrying in my head. And then another constant worry in my head is like, am I ever going to get to be able to walk again? Like, is this a thing? Or am I going to be like one of those people that walk with a limp? Am I going to be someone that has to use a wheelchair for the rest of her life, a walker for the rest of her life? She would make sure that they shower me, because you can't bathe yourself. You can't do anything for yourself anymore. And if the nurses don't like you, or if they're not in the mood, they're not going to shower you. If you don't ask to be showered, they're not going to bathe you. After the surgery, after they stitched me up and after everything, I was still losing blood. And I was so cold, so freezing. I had like 4 heated blankets on me at all time. And I would just sit like this, shivering. And my heart rate was at like, I think 189 beats per minute. And it was all day. It didn't go down. It was always 189. It was always working super hard. And I had to get blood again, another blood infusion, which is so terrifying. And I couldn't have my mom next to me, and I had to make all these adult decisions by myself. But good old Dana was there. Before the blood infusion, she tried to do other things to see if my blood levels would rise. When you are in a hospital and you are high risk in a hospital and they think you're gonna die, and they're all surprised that you're living because of all of your body parts that are broken, you are woken up at least every 45 minutes. So even in the middle of the fucking night, when you think you're safe and it's 12 o'clock in the morning and you finally get to go to sleep and your heart is slowed down, knock, knock, knock. I need to take your vitals and you need to take your medication and let's check on how you're healing. Is everything healing okay? I've never been so exposed. I've never been so touched. Once you're in a hospital, literally, if you think people aren't going to see you naked, you're confused. You're confused because you're naked all the time. You're just naked. People are seeing your butt. People are seeing your body all the time. And it's a really humbling experience. Underneath the Christian roof, you know, you're known to hide your body. People are not supposed to see you naked. And literally all these doctors, yep, they got to see the goods. So that was very humbling. But it was just, they didn't see anything more than they needed to see. They just had to check on me, see if I was doing okay. But every 45 minutes, I needed to get surgery still because even though I was in 6 hours of surgery, they decided to leave the bone sticking out of my body, out of my leg, out. So all this time while I'm dealing with physical therapy, they're trying to teach me how to sit again. They're trying to teach me how to use my upper body to like pick myself up like this and move it to another side, which I couldn't do because, bitch, I don't know if you see these, but they are weak. So it was such a struggle. Like I remember one time I have to sit in a chair for 15 minutes because all I would do would be laying on my back, right? So they make me sit in a chair. So they had to get like a stretcher type thing, roll me over, put me on it, pick me up with this like lever contraption, and then dump me on the chair, kind of, not in a rude way. And I'd have to sit there and I'd be in such horrible pain because all the blood would start rushing to my feet and my foot would look like this big pork sausage roll. And because of Corona, there are 6 million tests you have to perform in order to get surgery. So you have to get blood work done again. Anyway, I said, I want to talk to my mom before I go through the surgery because I don't know if I want this surgeon to do it or if I should pick someone else because, you know, this is a big decision. And they were like, okay, no problem. Get woken up again in the middle of the morning, like 5 a.m. in the morning, you gotta go to surgery. What do you mean? They're like, when's the last time you ate? I said, yesterday, probably in the morning. And they're like, okay, good. Yeah, you need to get surgery right now. And I was like, why? And they're just like, because this is the only time he has it because COVID has lessened the restrictions. So now he's getting booked and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I didn't even get to talk to my mom yet about it or anything. So I'm on my way to surgery. I'm on the stretcher. I'm being wheeled away. And then, because I didn't accept the surgery, I did not accept it. I said I wanted to talk to my mom, so I didn't get any of the tests done. I'm down there getting prepped for surgery. And then the surgeon finds out I didn't have any of the things that I needed to get done before the surgery, and he canceled it. But where was the miscommunication and how did it take that long for him to find this out? Like, I'm so confused. So after that, I was like, this is sketchballs. I don't like it. I don't feel safe in here no more. My mom didn't like it in there no more. So I had to get transferred to another hospital, but getting transferred was so hard. I am still here waiting to be transferred. That was crazy hard because they were like trying to keep me in there. My mom got someone to transfer me over. We got it all finalized. The nurse said, yeah, your transportation is coming at this time, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, cool. Okay, so.
We are en route. I said, we can't get through on the radio.
So the time they said was 3 p.m. So I'm looking, 3 p.m., gone. Okay, 4 p.m., gone. 5, 6, 7, gone. Call them. Hey, what's going on? Oh, there was some confusion. We canceled them. Did you call someone to uncancel it or like, you know, get this ball rolling again? No. Oh, okay, so I call my mom again, so she has to go through this. She's calling this person, I'm calling this person, I'm beeping this person. Long story short.
Where are you guys coming from?
Upstairs. We're going upstairs. From
Broward North.
Broward North, yeah.
On the floor. She's COVID negative. She's here for surgery.
And then when I get transferred to my new hospital, I have a roommate now. It was absolutely amazing. As I'm laying down, oh, and she pooped herself. So she was screaming and pooping herself the entire time. And then when the nurses would try to clean her, she would scream even louder. So then sometimes they would just leave her because she would scratch them and yell Bloody Mary. So I got to sit in a room that smelled like poop and a screaming lady.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Listen, lady, don't be screaming over here next to me. So then they tried to get surgery done the next day. It wasn't gonna happen. Surgeon was booked. So I'm not able to eat for like 16 hours or 12 hours or some elongated crazy amount of time before the surgery. So they set it for the next day. At the 14th hour of the next day, they said the surgeon had canceled on me. And this is a different hospital. And I'm like, after I had done the blood testing, because I had to do it there too, COVID testing, they said it was canceled. Someone's appendix burst and the surgeon needed to go fix that, which I understand, but it's like, I didn't eat for 14 hours. And it's not eating, because I wasn't really eating anyway. You couldn't have water. So I was hooked up to saline or whatever it is to get, hydrated, but that doesn't do anything for your mouth that tastes like paper and your lips that are cracking like crazy, okay? So I'm over here upset. So this is the second time I cried in the hospital. I am crying. I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm like, Mom, they canceled my surgery again. Why is this happening to me? I just want some water. And then I look up and the surgeon's right there. And I'm like, sorry, he's like, I'm so sorry. This lady's appendix burst and I have to go fix it. But tomorrow, I promise. And I'm like, okay. I felt like so embarrassed that I was crying in front of him. And then the head nurse or whatever snuck me this like really delicious popsicle, which if you're watching this, which I doubt you are, what kind of popsicle is that? Because that was good. And then they got me my own private room. My mom is an OG because when I woke and I was getting prepped for surgery again, had to take the COVID testing again, have the blood withdrawal again. I was on my way down and my mom was like, where are you? And I was like, I'm on my way down. Like I'm literally on the stretcher and I'm being rolled to wherever they do the surgery. And my mom was like, what location exactly are you going into? Do you know the room? I'm like, no, Mom. Why would I know the room? I'm laying down looking at the ceiling being pushed. And then I get into the place that I need to be. Lo and behold, my mom's there. Mom, how did you get here? Shh. She's in her nurse uniform, her mask. She looks like one of the nurses. So I guess she just snuck on in. I remember I was laying down on this cold steel slab, which is, I don't understand how they do surgeries on bigger people because this thing was like tiny and I felt like my body was hanging off of it, but I could just be crazy. And I remember there was this nice lady, one of the ladies that introduced herself to me. She was going to be the anesthesiast. Is that the word? And she said, relax. And I was like, okay. And then they put this like mask on me. And she's like, okay, breathe in 3 times. Big breaths. I was like, okay. So I did that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to like knock out or whatever. But nothing happened. I felt normal. And she was like, she said something to me. And she's like, all right, one more time. And I did it, blacked out, gone. Sleep, gone. One. I'm sleeping. I am done. That is it. The last thing I remember before I completely knocked out is they were writing my name on the board saying what my injuries were. And that was it. I was asleep. So So I woke up, I looked crazy, but I was all patched up. So that was nice. And my journey was as any other normal journey after that, was just getting better, a lot of physical therapy. Day 16 in the hospital, I can move to the side of the bed. Progress. Watch me day 30, I'm gonna be walking. Just you wait. Nothing more really crazy happened at that point. I had gotten transferred one more time to a physical rehab where we would have to exercise for 3 hours a day. So that means I was more active than I was in the hospital, because before in the hospital I would only be active for like 15 minutes a day, which is really no time at all. Yeah, so then I got home. Therapy was nice. I met great therapists. They really pushed me. But you have to be ready to be pushed, because I'm telling you, the process might have looked easy for you guys watching me from home on Instagram. It was a constant battle in my mind to make sure that I pushed myself, to make sure that I try to be better, because it did hurt every step, every move I made. But I learned to celebrate the small things, and that's really given me a better perspective on life itself, because you know, there's so many things distracting us from our goals. But I just want to make everyone aware of making sure you're listening to your body, because I was very tired and I kept pushing myself because I didn't want to be deemed weak for not achieving my goals. But you need to also pat yourself on the back for little things you accomplished, because that's now what I do, and I feel so much happier. As you can see, my smile is still here. I am still here, so that means you still gonna get a lot of me. And I have a lot of stuff in store, so I can't wait to release my new stuff. It's gonna be every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Just wait on it. Make sure to never lose sight of your dreams. All right, goodbye. Enough stuff.
1, 2, 3. Thank you for choosing Self for You. Happy Easter, we will do the best for you. Yay!